Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to AstroEnergy for June 7th, 2016. My name is Shelley Overton, and I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. And yes, I did make it through the storm. We had Tropical Storm Colin last night, and it is now moving through mostly. I don't think we're going to get much more rain, although it's still a bit overcast here. We have had patches of sun, and I know it's still kind of out there, but it's really the tail end of it. So that's a good thing because I had to bring the cat in last night. I don't know if I had told you about this. I think I have because it's a fairly big part of my life, being that I'm allergic to cats. I have a cat who has adopted me. And so he hangs around, and because of the storm, I put him in the laundry room and gave him a nice little warm, cozy area and food and water. And so he's all happy, and he'll probably pop up in the windowsill and yell at me to let him in at some point. But he doesn't have any need. This morning it's still pretty nice out. There's no rain. It's a light breeze. It's a bit warm. It's 77. Humid today. But, yeah, it's an interesting time. And part of that is it's interesting because I was looking at the astrology of what's going on with the moon and the weather and everything, because I like to look at that. And we had a new moon in Gemini, and Gemini rules air and wind. And now the moon is in Cancer, which is a water energy. And yesterday I was looking at the chart. Actually, I should probably call up yesterday's chart because we had a lot of energy going on with Jupiter at I want to say, I've been saying the apex, which is really kind of what it is. It's the one point where everything kind of meets in what's going on with the planets. So, yeah, yesterday, maybe it was the day before, I'm looking at it now. I mean, I think it was moving out because Mercury is at 23 degrees Taurus today, or yesterday, excuse me. Hang on. See, I hit June. Oh, that's why. I didn't enter the place, and so it didn't give me the right chart. So, yeah, so yesterday and a little bit the day before, we had a grand trine in Earth. We had Pluto at 16 Capricorn, Mercury close to 16, well, at 16 when it hit, which is probably, I'm guessing, Sunday night, and Jupiter at 14 Virgo. So there was a grand trine, 120 degrees, each planet's 120 apart from each other. And so that was creating a lot of Earth energy, things going on with the Earth, and then the connectedness of the moon to Gemini with the new moon on Saturday night was the new moon. And so that was that upheaval and, the storm brewing. When the moon went into Cancer, it became a water event. So right now we have Venus and Sun at 16. Actually, I take it back, 17. Yesterday they were both at 16. They're really in tandem right now. So they're going around the Sun very close to each other because the Sun's actually, not the Sun's going around itself. The Sun is going through the Gemini part of the sky from our perspective. So it's at 17 degrees Gemini, and then Venus is right there also at 17 degrees Gemini, but the Sun is at 16 minutes and Venus is at 28 minutes. So they are acting as one. They are in that brightly lit, if your birthday is yesterday or today, you definitely have love on the agenda because of the Venus connection on your solar return. But yeah, they are acting in tandem. So the ego and the feminine desire is the same thing right now. So, we're definitely feeling, it's nice to have the attention because our ego needs it, and we're feeling more attention from people romantically, and definitely the charm is being turned on and cranked up right now because of that Gemini energy. And then, since I'm already in it, we'll just go on around the zodiac here. We have Jupiter. I was debating whether or not to tell you. I guess you can know. The rising sign is Leo, where I'm at, but where you're at, it may not be unless you're in Orlando. So we have Jupiter at 14 Virgo, conjunct a 17-degree north node in Virgo, retrograde. So they are moving towards each other, and that means that there's a lot of energy coming in from past, or actually past and future lives, because we have the south node within 5 degrees of Neptune. Neptune is the energy that is a past life and bringing in karma and energy that we understand. And that's a whole other thing. Boy, I've got to get grounded because I have a lot of tangents running through my mind. But that's okay. So the opposition of Jupiter to Neptune, and then they are both in square, or were earlier Sunday, in square to Mercury and Mars, the opposition. So we had a grand cross, and of course Jupiter was in trine to Mercury and Pluto, and he was also in square to the Sun-Venus conjunction, Neptune opposition, and the Saturn retrograde and in Sagittarius. So it was a very intense time. I don't know if you felt it on Sunday, but I sure felt it. And my whole last week was wrapped up in getting my son graduated from high school and going to where I went down to see where he's going to college on the other side of the state. And my sister was in town. And so there was a lot of social interaction. Education was really strong and still is really strong with the 2 planets in Gemini and Saturn in Sagittarius. We have, that time of year, and it's interesting how this time of year is Gemini time of year, and it's about education. It's about the transition to the next step for a lot of people. And, I don't think that it's a coincidence. It is a coincidence, actually, because it's an incident that is in tandem. So I guess coincidence, but not coincidence as we know the word. So it is the time of year to think about learning and growth, and it's even more so pointed with the Saturn and Sagittarius and the opposition to the planets in Gemini and Saturn. So even though Saturn's retrograde, what he's saying is go back over where you just were for the past 6 months. And I know I say this probably every week, only because Saturn's been retrograde for a while, so you get to hear it a lot, but it's driving the point home. You've got that energy of expansion and growth and adventure and spirituality and wanting to be free. Definitely Sagittarius energy is the energy of freedom and freedom of movement, freedom of thought, freedom of spirit. And he's in opposition to the Sun and Venus. So really, it's interesting because I don't feel an opposition when I see things like that anymore. I really see a synergy. And that just means that we have 2 apparently opposing energies working in tandem, coming together from apparently opposite points of view, but really bringing what the other needs to the table. And Sagittarius is a very physical energy. It's a fire sign. And Saturn is an earth energy. It is about building and structure and tangibles. So what Saturn in Sagittarius wants to do is it wants to just feel free to construct and build and rework and do things in the physical world and build the tangible world. In retrograde, he's thwarted. So really, I would say in this energy, Saturn in Sagittarius is probably more his own worst enemy. And when I say these planets appear in our lives, in our charts, based on where these planets fall in our natal charts and where they're transiting in the current sky. So when I say he does this, it means that there is an energy in your life that is expressing this. So hopefully that clarifies a little bit of how I teach about astrology. But so Saturn retrograded, it is also about the structure of educational buildings and structures of the spirit, so churches and things like that. So it can be a time of shift and change around religious structures, around roads, definitely transportation, long distance transportation. And even though it's retrograde, it could be like the first 12 degrees, because now Saturn's at 12 degrees. Those first degrees were about initiating this energy, like, wow, okay, let's go and do this. And then locally, we have a light rail that they're building from Orlando to Tampa, and I'm not sure how far along they are in that process, but I know recently they came up with a new Amtrak line or train line going from Orlando to Miami also. So there's a lot more construction of transportation modalities here in Florida. And so they were initiated. Now, when Saturn retrogrades, we're going to get that energy restricted. So we're going to have to go back over the plans. We're going to have to rethink what we were doing. Maybe there's a different route that has to be taken because it's the Sagittarius energy. And they might have to buy different property to be able to accommodate it, things like that. In the opposite side is Gemini. So Sagittarius is the doer and Gemini is the thinker and the conceptual person. So now we're working with Sun. So we've got someone who is the idea person who maybe designed it, who could be the architect of this project and the one who conceived of it. And they're going, well, hey, you need to pay a little attention to my ideas. You need to pay attention to me. I want to talk about them. And Saturn and Sagittarius is saying, no, we got to do and we got to build and we got to make structures and just, we got it, let's go. No, you're restricted. And not only are you restricted from making the structures in your life right now, you are having to go back over the details that you don't particularly want to go over, because now Sun and Venus are in Gemini saying, let's talk about it. We really want to talk about it. And by the way, flirt, flirt, wink, wink. So you're probably also in a position of meeting new people, of finding these people who are suddenly coming into your life who are friendly, who are charming. Maybe you're feeling a little more flirtatious, a little more charming. So even though the Sun, Venus, and Gemini can be rather mental in how they approach things, because the ego wants to get the kudos for the achievements of thought, Venus wants to throw out the seed and get the love back, but Gemini wants to just get from one idea to another, to another, to another. So while they are very much in their own energy, and because they're at the same point in the sky, Venus and Sun, we are wanting to flirt, and it is an ego thing for us. And then we also want to communicate our truth and our ideas as a means of connecting to people and getting the word out, spreading the word. So that side of it is like, okay, now let's talk, let's rework, and maybe let's have some dinner or go to a movie, do something fun, but then we're going to talk our way through the movie while we're at it. So that energy's out there, but it is the idea and the manifestation, and that's how that axis is working together. You have the ego and the desire, which is Venus, and it could be a woman. Sun typically can represent a male energy, but with Venus, it can mean that women are acting more in that a capacity where, I guess this is probably more traditional sexist way of looking at it, sadly, but the sun shines the light and is the beacon, and then the moon reflects the light. So the sun is assertive well, assertive is probably the best word, and the moon is receptive. So those are traditionally the archetypes of those bodies in the heavens, but Venus is very feminine. So Venus is saying, pay attention to me. She's in the sun. She's in the spotlight. She wants to have her way. And Saturn in Sagittarius is very masculine. So we have this fiery, grounded, traditional energy going, no, we're going to do it this way because this is how we've always done it, and we don't want to be challenged. And then the other side is the woman saying, yeah, you may not want to be challenged, but I'm up here next to the sun. Venus is going, I'm next to the sun. I'm going to have a little bit of say here. And you know what? You're going to pay attention because the sun's shining on me. So we've got this really strong energy in our chart. And look where your day is. Look at what's happening. You may find that there are people in your life who represent those archetypes. And that you're having to deal with this dynamic. So not only is that happening, we also have Jupiter opposing Neptune. Jupiter also ruling Sagittarius, wanting to get things done. Virgo, it can be a very productive energy because Virgo is the doer of the zodiac as well. Virgo rules work, and Jupiter rules action and fire and adventure. So Jupiter rules the physicality and Virgo rules the mentality as it's translated into the physical. So it is very much get up and go and get it done and be productive. Thwarting that energy on the other side is Neptune. And Neptune is saying, yeah, but aren't you really exhausted? I know this past weekend I could barely keep my eyes open. I went to bed at 9 o'clock at night. We went down to see my son's school on the West Coast, and we got back. It was 5 hours of driving. It was a day of spending time with my family in a small vehicle. And, well, it wasn't so small, but it was a minivan. But there were a lot of us. And so we did have a rather compact area that each of us had because we had a lot of people. But, you know, you were out being active and you were socializing with all the people, which is the Mercury and the Gemini stuff. And then Neptune's like, yeah, I get it. You're trying to build and you're trying to think and you're trying to take adventures. And I mean, that it's completely the grand cross there going on. And Neptune is right there backing it all up saying, yeah, that's great. Go do it. But now you need some sleep. And so we've all been really tired and drowsy over the course of the last week as this whole aspect has been perfecting. And then to round it out, we have that trine going on with Mercury, or it did last weekend, the trine going on with Jupiter and Virgo, or Jupiter in Virgo, Mercury in Taurus, and Pluto in Capricorn. So that's about the ideas as well. Mercury in Taurus, it does have the ideas, but it wants to take time and really make sure it knows what it wants and everything is completely as it should be before it actually starts to manifest the idea. So there's much more groundedness and digging in with that energy coming up. So yeah, these two major aspects that went on over the course of the last week, we're still feeling it. And now we have Venus, Sun moving closer to the end degrees of Gemini. They will be getting there. Well, Sun goes into Gemini around the 21st of this month. I'm going to look it up for you just so I can be accurate because I want to do that. And we have a full moon in Sagittarius on the 20th of this month. And what day do we have the Sun? Hello. Okay, well, same day. That's why, full moon, Sun. Okay, so 6:34 on the 20th. So right around the 20th, we have the Sun moving, and we're going to have Venus right behind it. I'm going to look that up too, because that's just the way I roll. So when does Venus go into Cancer? On the 18th. So, about 2 more weeks, and we're going to have all this energy around the water again. And okay, so that's the rundown of what's going on currently. And the moon in Cancer today too as well, which is just out of opposition to Pluto. So that can be major changes revolving around the family or, the authority figure within the family, and then having to roll with the punches or nurturing around the home so that we can keep going and everybody feels like their needs are being met. Okay, so today's topic is Mars, the Mars angry feminine. So Mars was in Sagittarius, masculine, just went back last Friday into Scorpio. So it's going to be there through the end of the month. He goes direct, and I usually have a cheat sheet here to tell you exactly what the times are, so I don't have to look them up for you, but not today, sadly. So hang on, I'll look it up in the back again, just so you can write it down if you're interested. So Mars goes direct on the 28th to 29th. So I'm going to look that up a little more tight. So at 7:38 p.m. on the 29th. So until then, we're going to feel like we have to go back over our old issues. And our old issues are feminine issues, meaning the reception, the receptivity in our lives. Where are we feeling like we had always been just told what to do, you just do that because that's how we've always done it, or you do that because you're the youngest in the family, or you do that because you're the new one the in the business, just it's the way it's done, and Scorpio challenges everything. So what happens is those of us with Scorpio, or everyone else experiencing the Scorpio energy, we're getting a, a broader, fuller understanding of feminine receptivity, because the Scorpio energy is a feminine energy, and yet it is a very assertive energy. It's a dramatic energy, and it will make major life changes, but they are receptive, and that is because they are emotionally charged. They're connected to water, so they receive through emotion. And the still waters run deep, and that's probably said about a Scorpio, because Scorpios can be extremely calm on the outside unless they're squinting the glare of death at you, giving you the evil eye. It goes really deeply. And so we're feeling that. We're feeling that anger, that urgency coming up. Like, I don't want to be restricted anymore. That Saturn and Sagittarius, we've seen. Mars saw what is on the horizon, and it's positive, and it's expansive, and it's a life change. But now Mars is back in Scorpio, and he has to find out what the truth is. He has to know everything about the situation emotionally. He has to engage his truth, and he has to, or maybe even, his Mars in the feminine, her truth. But it is about getting to the heart of where the commitment is, and are we truly as committed as we thought we were? And because it's frustrating, because Mars is retrograding, he is in opposition to Mercury today. He's going to be enticing us to be the angry feminine, along with the cardinal cross going on with Venus conjunct the Sun, squaring Jupiter, squaring Neptune, opposing Saturn. Currently, I'm probably more talking about the angry feminine in terms of transits as opposed to the archetype that we may have in our charts. But I can tell you, wherever Scorpio is in your chart, that's where you're getting very angry. And I'll give me as an example, because I have a Scorpio rising and I have a Sagittarius on the second house. So Sagittarius, of course, Mars went into my second house, and then back into the first. And the first is my sense of self, my identity, how I value myself to others. And it's a life lesson in the first house. We are looking for where we can contribute and what we can contribute. And what we can contribute is insight, psychological insight, intuitive insight. The sign of Scorpio is the sign of lawyers. It's the sign of those who rally for justice. And I think Scorpio gets a bad rap by people saying that, they're vengeful, or they can really get you. But they are very deep feeling, and they rally behind justice. They are the sign of justice. They are the sign that carries out the balance that Libra wants to have, because they are the second house from Libra. So they are the tangibility of partnership. They are the materiality of partnership, the money of partnership. And so they're intuiting so much about these subjects. And when they're frustrated, they can lash out. So that's part of the angry feminine. Venus definitely transiting a masculine energy in Gemini and conjunct the Sun. She is wanting to express herself and not be quieted. So that's coming out right now as well. She is in pretty tight aspect to the Sun, and she does stay fairly tight to the Sun in her orbit, but at least from our perspective. But she is definitely going to, in September she separates by sign for the whole month. She'll be in Libra, and the Sun will be in Virgo until she gets back up close again. But, the energy I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's in all of our lives. It's coming out, and it needs to be addressed. It's part of the life process. We go through these planetary aspects and these planetary cycles to learn and to grow and to evolve to the next level. And so right now, that's definitely coming out. And for me, it's coming out in pretty much dealing with people. I also have Jupiter on every one of my Virgo planets over the last couple months. And right now, he's on my Pluto. And so Virgo, again, Jupiter is a masculine planet in a feminine sign, once again reinforcing that wanting to do something, wanting to take action, and action traditionally, archetypically is masculine, and receptivity, nurturing is feminine. Now, that's changing. The balance is shifting, and this is part of the balance. It's part of the balance that men are finding their more feminine side. And if you don't believe me, just check out YouTube. A lot of YouTube men let their girlfriends put makeup on them. So they're getting more comfortable with putting their feminine side out and not being defensive. I mean, I only say this. I was raised with the idea that men are very defined. And this is not my idea, by the way. This is how I was raised, but it's definitely not where I'm coming from. That there are definite criteria that men have to meet, and how they have to dress, and how they have to look, and what they can do with themselves to be masculine, and to be men, and to be boys. And that girls, there are a list of criteria, and they're defined. They're very well defined. Our society is starting to blend those definitions, and probably for many years women have worn pants, and that's before what it just came up on a video I was watching today. How long has it been that women have worn pants? Because they were referring to Amelia Earhart. That back in the 1930s, she married someone, and I believe that she probably was lesbian or had lesbian tendencies. She married someone to keep that view of her life traditional, and that's changing. So it is all part of the soup and the mix to get us to the next level. And astrology can definitely bring out those ideas and encourage us to start expressing new ways of being. And definitely we are going towards a big shift. But that being said, I'm going to give out the phone number. We've got a few people in line. Not everyone has their hand up to ask a question. If you do want a reading, please hit 1 on your keypad so that I know. And then after the break, I will take your call. So we're going to take some calls. And sorry, that was a little abrupt, but yeah, the angry feminine archetype is kind of coming out right now. So what you can do is roll with it. I definitely encourage people to acknowledge their view of everything that comes out. This is a time of embracing and acceptance and learning how to own our own shadow side, and that's the Scorpio. Scorpio pulls out the shadow side by the beginning of August when Mars goes into Sagittarius again. A lot of the final grunge is getting pulled out and slapped down on the table, and we're going to get to see it. Right now, we're kind of cleaning house. It's like when you've moved out of an apartment, you have to go back and clean it. That's what this is. So the way to get through this energy is to know that you're just going back to the apartment of emotions to clean them out. And you already know what the new apartment looks like. You've been there. Mars and Sagittarius. You already know it's coming. Now we just have to go back for 2 months, and 2 months in metaphor, or actually literally, but metaphorically going back to the apartment. And we're going to clean all that grunge out so we can leave with a clear conscience, and we can know that we're getting our deposit back, and you will get your deposit back. Good things are coming. You just have to make it to August. And this is actually part of it. And if you can appreciate the process, it will be so much easier for you. So that being said, I'm going to take a little break, and we'll come back and take calls. I just love that little 2-minute tune. It just relaxes me so much, makes me feel so cozy. Anyway, this is the AstroEnergy show on Blog Talk Radio, and my name is Shelley Overton. I am an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. And welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here today. If you would like to call in and get a reading, the number is 347-994-3365. And also, if you would like a private reading from me, I take those. You can get them through my website, which is astrologerangel.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and I'm missing one, but I don't know what it is. Facebook. Did I say Facebook? Anyway. All right, so let's take a caller and see what we have today. Hi, 646. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm good. Who am I talking to?
You're speaking with Sonia.
Oh, hi, Sonia. So have you ever called the show before?
No, I have not. This is my first time.
Awesome. Well, thanks for calling. Why don't you give me your birth information, birth date, place, and time, and I will see what we have for you. You can ask your question after that.
Okay, 8/12/1971, New York City.
New York City?
Yes.
Okay, and what time?
I think about 2:30.
Okay. Is that AM or PM? Okay, wonderful. Hang on one second. And you said 1971, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. All righty, so what can I do for you today?
Okay, my question is in regards to, I guess, employment.
Mm-hmm.
Finance, yes.
Okay. So you're looking to get a job. Do you already have a job?
I'm looking actually to get a job. Yesterday I signed up with a employment agency. So even though I got there late due to trains, I was told that I would get a second chance. Mm-hmm. But I'm not too sure if they would actually send me out on interviews after being late.
After being late?
Yes.
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay.
There's so many agencies here in the city, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so let me just look at your chart real quick here. I did 2:30 in the afternoon. You did say afternoon, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it comes up as 28 degrees Scorpio rising, and that means that you have Mars on your Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and spirituality, and Mars is right there on it saying you've got to expand your horizons. The interesting thing about your chart is you have Neptune just over the horizon, or just about to come up, in Sagittarius. So you've really been drawn to follow your heart and follow your own truth lately in the last year. Have you felt that really intense energy coming in?
Yes, I have.
Okay. The other thing is you have Jupiter at your midheaven, and Jupiter is 2 degrees off of your 12-degree Virgo midheaven, so he's wanting to expand what you think of as a career. And do you do any kind of healing work? Because I'm telling you, there's a ton of healing work going on up there.
Oh, yes, I actually do. I do Reiki once or twice a week.
Awesome.
And also I have a few crystal stones. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just, right now what I'm doing is kind of pinpointing some of the areas of your chart that indicate career, job, things like that, and also where you're inclined to do something. So you have Saturn and Gemini, and Saturn and Gemini is an energy that needs to communicate. You are a communicator. You can either, be on your own podcast, you could do blogs, you could just talk to people, you can write, you could journal. There's so many things that you can do to communicate, but you are a communicator. Your your Saturn falls into your house of marriage and partnership. And Gemini means it's dual. So you have more than one means of life purpose or career. And you would do really well with other people. It's almost a given. Like for you, your career has to include some type of interaction with people, whether it's educating, teaching people, or learning yourself, or just to balance out your life. Because both signs, both Gemini and Libra, the house that it's in, the seventh house is ruled by Libra, are about something on your left hand, something on your right, and are they in balance? Are they in cooperation?
Okay.
Yeah, so if I would say career-wise, especially now with Sun Venus conjunct, and just having gone past your Saturn career, you're looking at more than one opportunity, or you should be looking at more than one opportunity to do something. So don't necessarily just say, okay, I've got this job. And so actually signing up with a temp agency is really great. Or what did you say, a placement agency?
Yes.
That's a really great thing to do. And I do think that there may be a woman that is a problem in that situation right now, because you also have Vesta right there, and that can be someone who is testy or not necessarily working in your favor right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Is that kind of something that you saw in that situation? Yeah, I think that could be a difficult thing. Also, Mars retrograde is you take action, but it's really pulling in and pulling back. Your Mars is in your 12th house. Mars is the drive to do something, and going backwards into the 12th house, just going backwards is going to pull things back, and you're not going to get things to come to fruition as easily. You can't have it happen. But in the 12th house, it's like, no, you're kind of being asked to sit and really understand the spiritual side and what it is that you truly need to do. Like, this is like, if you were listening before the show, this is the time where you clean house emotionally. And for you, you're cleaning out a lot of past ideas of who you are and where your value is. And sadly, in some respect, because you're trying to get a job, but it is a fortunate thing because you're getting rid of all this stuff. You're going into the area of your life where you're trying to connect into spirit, and it's not a real strong energy for taking action. It's a really strong energy for meditation and introspection. And it's almost as if the planets are saying, no, you can keep trying, but we're not going to let you do it, and especially because that energy is right on your Neptune as well, within 4 degrees. You're going to get what you want. You are going to get, and I think it's probably going to still be a couple months. You have stuff brewing. I'm not saying there aren't possibilities, but I think it's not going to be a permanent situation, which is probably in alignment with the type of company you signed up with. You could probably get some positions, but you're not going to stay with them for a long time. I also see, let me see what else. Yeah, because Pluto, again, a lot of planets are in aspect to each other. And so you've got some really strong stuff about looking. No, it's just a lot of it's all about changing structures and looking for your center. And Neptune is right on the cusp of your house of home and family, which means, and Jupiter just went into your midheaven. So there's a lot of stuff saying a move is possible. Like, are you thinking of moving? Okay, because that's really strong in your chart.
Yes.
So I think you are going to move. I think that probably I seriously think it's like 2 months out. So if you get a job, it's going to probably, I mean, it depends on where you're going to move. If you're just going to move to a new house, it's one thing, but, it's Jupiter, and Jupiter likes to move long distance. So, yeah, so you may be moving farther away. So getting a job could be a temporary thing, and then you're going to end up in the fall. I definitely see a move. I mean, everything that's transiting is aspecting your, like, the horizon in your chart, which means self and marriage, and then the midheaven and the IC, which is home and family and career. So everything is being affected right now for you, but I think the shift is coming in 2 months, where right now you're just going over the old patterns. So think about those old psychological patterns where you may doubt yourself. That's what you're reviewing right now. And so you're putting that energy out when you go to get jobs, like you're going back to the past. When Mars goes direct, the end of the month, you're going to start to move back forward. You're going to hit that Jupiter. Jupiter's going to say it's time to move on. And I think that's when you're going to start to seriously talk about moving. And then by September, actually August, Mars goes back into Sagittarius, hits your Neptune in your first house, and it's like we're off to the races. And not long after, Saturn goes direct, and then, I think that you're going to be moving, personally. And it's going to be a great move for you. It's really going to open you up, and you're going to be happier where you move.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Awesome.
You get everything right on the nose.
Awesome. Great. Well, I'm so
I've
glad
been
you
letting
called.
a lot of old things go. Yes, I'm actually getting out more. So
Good for you.
it's a lot of things that I saw that I was doing that was holding me back.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like if I see certain things that hold me back, I'll say, wait a minute, whoa, we did this already, let's move forward. So
Exactly. That's exactly it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And I'll give you a call back in a few months to let you know exactly what's going on.
Oh, yeah, it sounds good. Okay, thanks, Sonia. Nice talking with you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. All right, let's go on to the next caller. We've got 909. Hi, 909. How are you? Hello? 909, are you there? Oh, my. Somebody sounds like they're outside. 909, are you there? Hi. Who is this?
Hi, Shelley. This is
Hi.
Angie.
Angie,
Hi.
how you
I
doing?
spoke to you. Hi. Good. I'm just calling to follow up. You told me to call you back, and I thought I should, and I'm just kind of wondering when is everything going to let up? And you said something about August or a couple months, and I am just what you were talking to the previous lady about. I kind of feel like that's me.
Same kind of thing, yeah. Well, first off, I know, exactly, right? And that's Gemini right now. Everything in Gemini is saying, go back over and over and over all the ideas that we have and all the issues, and I'm just like stuck in a loop. Real quick, you didn't call in. If you called before, you didn't call in on the same number, so I can't access your chart right away. So if you want to give that to me again.
Oh, okay.
Birth date, place, and time. Okay.
8/17/64.
Okay.
3:07 p.m. Torrance, California.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember you. Oops. I can't believe it. I put 2 L's in California because the 2 R's in Torrance. My fingers were just like, okay, let's do that one twice. So silly. Okay, so you're looking for when it's all going to lighten up, huh?
When will they be? That's like all I can do anymore is just be still.
Yeah.
All I want to do.
Well, it's interesting because the previous caller was born in August as well, and she had a late degree Scorpio rising. You have a mid Sagittarius, so you're just a little past her. So Mars is also in your 12th house, and Saturn is also in your 12th house just. So let's look up and see when Saturn's going to get on out of that for you real quick here. So what you want is you want Saturn to go back direct, which is going to be August 12th. And then you want him to get to 14 degrees, which is going to be October 29th. So look for Halloween. I know that's a long ways away. But as far as I'm not sure which areas you're concerned with, but career,
I want
move.
Yeah, that
kind of
and I look. I can work. I'm positive about my career. I can because I can work anywhere.
Awesome.
But I really want to move.
Yeah,
I really,
you will.
really do.
I know you do. Everybody does. Right now, the Sagittarius energy is all about okay, we've got something new coming in. Let's go with that energy. Let's, wrap up. The Scorpio energy, which I don't know if I've ever really talked about, is extremely stubborn. It will stick with something until it exhausts it, and then go another couple of years. And even after it's very clear it's not working, the ego side of Scorpio or the tenacity kicks in and says, okay, I've still got these issues I need to deal with. And once you're really, truly done with the issues and you've processed it, then you can move on. That's what this energy is right now. So, again, the end of the month, Mars goes direct. Once he gets to 14 Sagittarius, I want to see which one gets there first, Saturn or Mars. So let's see which one of those two planets get there first. Okay, so September 2nd, Mars gets to 14 Sagittarius. So Mars is going to hit before Saturn will. So Mars is going to say, I'm just going to, so what, okay, I got goosebumps with that. So what I got is, you're going to do the reconnaissance, you're going to go and take the action, and then you're going to get your ducks in a row afterwards, which is Saturn. So Saturn's going to work behind the scenes a little bit, doing the final psychological work, whereas Mars is going to get into the first house and say, I don't even care. My ego says I am out of here. I am so finding a place, and he's taking the action. Then after he takes the action, maybe you find a new place or you know where you want to live. Then Saturn's going to say, yeah, but have you got the money in place? Have you got, if you buy a place, have you got a pre-approval for a loan, and then Saturn's going to take care of the backup afterwards. That's kind of how it's going to be. Mars is going to talk to Saturn on the way out. He's going, oh, yeah, okay, touching Saturn and go. And then he's going to go out there and just fly out of the gate saying, no, time to move. And that's going to happen in September. So, again, kind of like the last caller, it's like, I'm sorry you want to get going. Everybody does. I do, too. It's like, can we please just be done with the Scorpio energy? I just want to be done. But, go ahead.
If I could just get my husband to agree and want to do it, too. But I guess he's Saturn, where he's like, it's not a good idea.
What's his sign? What's his sign?
He's that Saturn. Sagittarius.
Oh, he's Sagittarius?
And he was born in the afternoon. Yeah.
No, he will be on board. He might have some Capricorn in his chart. The Capricorn in his chart is dragging his heels. So, yeah, that's what's dragging the heels. But Pluto is retrograde right now, and that means that Pluto has to go back over the old story. Oh, but it's so safe. Let's go back over it until September 26th. And the old story, and after September 26th, for about 5 or 6 months, Pluto goes direct in Capricorn, which is good because at that time you're going to be having Saturn moving direct. And really, when Saturn, in about a little over a year, I think it's January of 2018, so like a year and a half, that's when Saturn hits Capricorn and says, we've got to change the structure. The Saturn in Sagittarius is like so chomping at the bit and excited and adventurous, and let's get going. We want to do. But then Saturn hits Capricorn and says, okay, let's rearrange the structure. And for you, it's about your sense of self. You have Moon in Sagittarius in the first house at 25 degrees, and you have the South Node in Capricorn. You have very strong energy coming in from a past life about responsibility and ownership, and you know how to take it. And yet the Moon desperately wants to be free and have fun. And Saturn is going to be coming in saying, yeah, you need to listen to your Moon, because what nurtures your soul is the adventure of life. And your husband is there to be the brakes, but Saturn is going to, like you said, I'm sorry, what day? How far into Sagittarius is he?
Well, I'll tell you that his chart is exactly opposite mine, where my sun is in his, we have exactly flip over, I guess, if you were to put all his planets would be opposite mine. He's December 3rd, 1960.
Okay.
In the same state and around the same time.
Yeah.
But we have completely opposite. All his planets and mine are in the opposite sign on his chart.
Wow. Was he born in California too?
Yes.
Okay, let me just take a quick eyeball and see what we get for him. You said he was born in the middle of the afternoon, or you don't know?
5:30 p.m.
Okay, let's just
December
do that.
3rd, 1960.
Okay. Alrighty. So, he's got
like what I want. He's the opposite of what I want.
He's got 3 planets in Capricorn, but you know what? Pluto is on his Saturn right now. That's so amazing. Poor guy.
Is that good?
Seriously. Pluto is looking at your fears, looking at the psychology of what you believe, and Saturn is his life purpose and his career. So he's going through a major shift and upheaval because, remember at the beginning of the show, if you were listening, Pluto was taking part in that cardinal cross, or not cardinal cross, just the grand cross. So it's opposing, or actually, I'm going to slow down here a second. It was in the trine. So the Earth energy is really strong in this last week. And not only that, but Pluto will take all of his fears and all of the subliminal emotions he feels about who he is, how he makes a living, what he does for a career, where his life purpose is. It's rotor-rootering all of that and forcing him to look deeper at what his fears are and where he wants to go with his career. So he's I'm telling you, there's so much going on with people of this generation, with your generation. He was born in 60, 64 is a little bit later because those of us born in 64 had the Uranus-Pluto conjunction, or in the same sign in Virgo. And so we're kind of like, we were born in that era when everything was changing, sexual revolution, women's lib and all that. It was just like that demarcation between the 50s good little doobie people going and earning the living, and the 60s going, you can't tell us what to do, free love, we're going to do what we want, right? He's at the tail end of the old energy. He's got Uranus at 25 Leo, so he definitely feels like he wants to be a creative person, but he's got a certain sense of authority, like that he has to express his authority qualities, and because of the Capricorn, he's more tied to that energy of, I got to be responsible. But the good thing is he's got the Pluto in Virgo and the North Node in Virgo, which means part of his life lesson is to learn how to love himself and to really express the ability he has to have insight into like what needs to be done, what is truly important. And let's see, what's his sun? Sun is Sagittarius and his moon is Gemini. He has adventurer in him, but he lets a lot of the heaviness of life get in the way. I mean, really, his fire energy has Uranus and Leo. That's somebody who is very inventive, extremely creative, loves children, loves that connectedness to
loves
the
animals,
childlike nature.
Yeah,
and that's also the Pluto in Virgo.
Right on.
Extremely. But his Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter are all in Capricorn, and Venus is his receptive nature, his desire nature is very responsible. He has a difficult time because it's in conjunct to his moon. He has a really difficult time not being the good little boy, and it really does go back to when he was a little boy. His moon in Gemini, that's the mom. So there's like this duality to mom, whether he has more than one mother or she was very intelligent. There's that, but he didn't find the stability he needed necessarily in mom, and so he really has that in his chart to be the stable person, and it's going to be really hard. Like Capricorn, I mean, I'm telling you, the Capricorns of the world, especially those with Saturn and Capricorn or Pluto, they're really going through major life change right now because of that Pluto going through Capricorn. It's upheaval.
I wonder if I could call you and you could do you do synastry charts? Maybe I could call you for a consultation between our two charts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think there's some interesting things that you said that are I'd like to talk personally about.
Oh, absolutely.
So if I could maybe schedule something like that with you.
Oh, yeah. Just go to astrologerangel.com or Shelley, Shelley, at astrologerangel.com. And I'll if you email me privately, I end up just sending you the link so that you can go through and decide which kind of reading or whatever. But, definitely we could set something up.
So for him, it's going to lighten up soon?
I wouldn't say
not too soon for him.
He doesn't ever really get light, but he does have aspects in his chart that are trying to get his attention. And his sun and his moon, definitely his mother and father, there's some energy going on with that with him. There's a lot in his chart I could tell you about. I don't have the time right now, honestly, because I know. Take a couple more calls.
I'll call you back, and then we'll do it that way. We'll do it the way you do it.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay,
great.
Thank you
so
much.
Good hour
and you'll be
over
hearing
an
from
hour.
me.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well, thank you
great.
so much,
Thank
Angie,
you.
for calling. You're welcome. My pleasure. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, let's see if we can get some more people in. 207. Hi, 207. Who is this?
Hi, this is Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, this is Tom. I'm calling from Maine. I was born January 27th, 1959, in Queens, New York.
At 11:52 a.m.
You got me. Yes,
I got
you.
you.
Thank you,
What's up? Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm okay. I'm getting ready to take a trip, and I don't know when I'll be returning, so I might be looking for another residence. But while I do all this work on myself, I was wondering if you could tell me if there's a long-term, serious romantic incident coming to me.
I think definitely you have some long-term serious romance coming to you. Again, because Mars just went into your house of marriage and partnership, it's on your Jupiter. It's retrograde, so it's going back towards the health issues or the work issues. It's still in your house of marriage and partnership. So you are dealing with a lot of the issues. You were/are married, aren't you?
I was married.
Was married.
The divorce is going through rapidly.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were right in that process.
Yes,
yeah.
It's been too.
So, yeah, definitely Mars is right on your Jupiter, wanting to expand the marriage energy and wanting you to expand and change your view of commitment. And then, again, August 3rd, Mars gets back into Sagittarius, which is very fun-loving and action-oriented. So, getting out and about and doing physically active things will help you meet people. When Saturn is not far off of a commitment energy for you, which is really good. Once he goes direct and gets to 17 degrees, then definitely there's more interest in committing, and that's the beginning of December. And not only that, I got chills because right around that time, you've got Sun in Sagittarius. So the Sun will also be going around in your chart through the house of partnership and marriage. So that's really beneficial. But to top it all off, you also have Jupiter in your fifth house of romance. And it's 1 degree off of your moon, which is your emotional life. So definitely connection to mom, renovating some ideas around mom and your responsibilities in your own self, like, oh, I feel so responsible for mom, or, I can't do this or that because I have to be a good person based on maybe what your mom has given you in your life. Jupiter is moving past that energy, and around, September 9th, Jupiter will be in Libra. And when that happens, Libra is about marriage and partnership because that's what it rules. So definitely in the house of romance, in the sign of Libra, come the beginning of September, really strong energy towards partnering. So I do believe that someone is coming. And then you also have Mercury and Taurus on Mars right now too, which is making you want to really take action towards romance and something more tangible. But I'm thinking probably it's going to happen closer to the fall for you. But yeah, definitely. And then you have Saturn going into Capricorn, and you're going to have a Saturn return when that happens, which is early 2018. And again, that's probably another long-term commitment. So absolutely, you've got a lot of indicators in your chart.
Wow. Okay? Anything about moving residence?
I don't see anything directly hitting. Oh, wait a minute. Jupiter just left your house of home and family, so that would probably be it. Yeah, Jupiter literally is just into your house of romance, out of the house of home and family, which does indicate a move. And I would wait till Mars goes direct. But if you can't, your Mars is on your Jupiter as well right now anyway. So I would wait till it goes direct after the end of the month. But if you can't, yeah, it's there. But I would say probably July, the beginning of July is more indicative, and even August if you can push it. Okay.
I can't wait that long. I got to get out of here.
Well, definitely July.
Yeah. Right. The energy here has just been too bad the last 11 years, and I have no ties, so I'm just gonna pack it in for now.
All right. Well, thanks for the call, Tom, and good luck. And let me know how it goes. Okay.
I
take
sure
care.
will. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
All right. Bye. Okay, well, I apologize for not getting to the last caller. If you want to call in early next week, I would love to talk to you. 347-994-3365 next week, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at Ironwood Rain.